John D. Rockefeller once said, "The secret to success is to own nothing but control everything." In today's video, I want to explore how this seemingly paradoxical philosophies might actually hold the key to the ultimate freedom in our modern world. What is true freedom? I believe it's the ability to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. It's living life on your own terms, without the constraints that most people accept as inevitable. It's a level of autonomy that transcends conventional thinking about wealth and success. In our society, we're conditioned to equate ownership with freedom. Own a house, own a car, own a boat, accumulate assets, and you'll be free. But I've discovered something counterintuitive. The more you own, the less free you often become. Every possession creates a tether, a commitment, a responsibility, a limitation on your mobility and flexibility. What if true freedom comes not from what you own, but what you can access and control when needed? Let's start with global sovereignty, the ability to move freely across borders and reside where you choose. Traditional thinking suggests buying properties around the world, but think about the reality of that approach. Property taxes, maintenance costs, security concerns, and the fundamental reality that you can only be in one place at a time. The alternative? Establishing strategic residencies that allow legal long-term stays without the burden of ownership. Having the flexibility to live 6 months in Thailand, then relocate to Colombia or Argentina without government restrictions limiting your movement. This requires forethought in visa planning and perhaps multiple residency options, but it's achievable without the massive capital outlays of property ownership. Of course, this level of geographic freedom requires currency, specifically earning in strong currencies like the US dollar while spending in weaker local currencies. This arbitrage creates tremendous lifestyle leverage. But here's where most people get stuck. They believe this requires sacrificing income potential or being tied to a particular location for work. That's where digital systems come in, creating income streams that can be managed from anywhere with a laptop and internet connection is the modern equivalent of owning oil wells or factories in Rockefeller's time. You control the system, but you're not physically bound to it. This digital leverage is the cornerstone of what I call freedom design, structuring your income, assets, and lifestyle for maximum autonomy. You don't need to own the platform, the server, or even employ people directly. You simply need to control the flow of value. Now let's talk about housing. Most people believe buying a home is essential for security and building wealth. But what if that's just another illusion that limits freedom? When I travel, I don't seek out hotels. I find apartments or houses that feel like home, but I only pay for them when I need them. Yes, short-term rentals come with a premium price compared to long-term leases or mortgages, but this premium is actually buying something invaluable. Optionality, the freedom to change your mind, to move, to adapt without the friction of selling property or breaking leases. Consider the true cost of owning a home: mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and the opportunity cost of your down payment, not to mention the psychological burden of being tied to one location. Now compare that to renting only what you need, when you need it, and being able to upgrade, downgrade, or relocate at will. The same philosophy applies to transportation, furnishings, even the tools and toys we convince ourselves we need to own. In nearly every category, there are emerging services that provide access without ownership. Car subscription services instead of auto loans, furnished rentals instead of moving trucks full of possessions, equipment rentals instead of garages full of rarely used items. Each of these choices creates lightness, mobility, and freedom from the psychological weight of possession. This isn't about minimalism for its own sake. It's about strategic minimalism that maximizes flexibility. This approach aligns with our deeper nature. Humans were nomadic for most of our history. We're designed to move, explore, and adapt to new environments. The static, location-bound lifestyle is actually a very recent development enabled by agricultural and industrial revolutions. Technology is now enabling a return to our nomadic roots, but with comfort and security our ancestors couldn't imagine. But what about the emotional aspects of home and belonging? This is where intentional design comes in. I travel with small tokens of familiarity, perhaps a special pillow, a meaningful mug, or personal items that create continuity. These aren't burdensome possessions, but rather anchors of identity that transform any space into my space. And with platforms like Airbnb, I can find places that resonate with my sense of home. Bookmarking favorite properties and cities I frequently visit. These become my distributed homes around the world, available when I want them, without the burdens of ownership when I don't. Even for the ultra-wealthy who can afford multiple properties, there's an inescapable truth. You can only be in one place at a time. If you own houses in Miami, Monaco, and Medellin, but you're only using one, the others aren't actually serving you. You're serving them through ongoing costs and management headaches. When wealthy individuals rent out their additional properties, they're acknowledging this reality. But then comes the maintenance, the property managers, the tenant issues, all distractions from the freedom lifestyle. And once strangers have occupied these spaces, using the beds, the kitchen, the bathrooms, is it really your private sanctuary anymore? The ownership illusion feeds our ego but constrains our freedom. Control without ownership. That's the key insight that the truly sophisticated understand. It's about having access to exactly what you need when you need it, without carrying the burden when you don't. This philosophy extends beyond physical possessions to business structures, investments, and even relationships. In each domain, ask yourself, am I seeking ownership because it truly serves my freedom, or because I've been conditioned to believe ownership equals success? True fulfillment in life comes from experiences, connections, personal growth, and contribution, none of which require extensive ownership. What they do require is the flexibility to seize opportunities, adapt to changing circumstances, and design your environment to support your highest priorities. The ultimate freedom formula combines abundant resources, location flexibility, and emotional stability. Resources provide options. Flexibility allows movement and maintaining certain constants, like family connections and familiar comforts, provides the psychological security we all need. This isn't about renouncing all possession or living like a hermit. It's about being strategic and intentional about what you own versus what you control. Ask yourself, does this possession expand my freedom or restrict it? Does owning this asset give me more options or fewer? Rockefeller understood that control, the ability to direct and utilize resources, was far more valuable than the burden of ownership. In our digital, globally connected world, this insight is more relevant than ever. As we evolve beyond industrial age thinking about wealth and success, the new status symbols aren't what you own, but the freedom you experience. Not how many homes you have, but how many places you can feel at home. Not the car in your garage, but your ability to access transportation that perfectly suits each situation. The wealthiest person isn't the one with the most assets, but the one with the most options. And options come from liquidity, mobility, and systems that generate value without demanding your physical presence. Before we wrap up, I want to invite you to join our community where we discuss these freedom-oriented strategies alongside our trading and investment approaches. In our Discord, we share resources for global mobility, digital income creation, and lifestyle design that supports true freedom. The link is in the description below. Remember, owning nothing while controlling everything isn't about deprivation. It's about liberation. It's about designing your life around experiences rather than possessions, and focusing your resources on what truly matters to you. Join us to continue this conversation and learn practical strategies for implementing this philosophy in your own life. I look forward to connecting with you there.